So unintentional grocery trip. I went for coffee and I was like, maybe I'll get some sushi for lunch. And I came in with this. Whoops. But we do like need all of it. It's just, well, we don't need it. It all sounded really good. Basically, I went to the store hungry. Mistake. So I'm just gonna unload this and then, yeah. So this is my first time trying the Bold House Farms Mocha Cappuccino coffee beverage. Basically, I'm looking for coffee that is good and caffeinated, but also has some protein and maybe a couple less calories. So this does not have less calories, but it does have some more protein. This is 13 grams of protein, whereas my usual coffee, I think is like 4. And that's for like a 2/3 of a serving, and compared to like the serving sizes and stuff. So this is more protein, which is good. This is like 13 grams, which is nice. And it actually tastes good. Because here's the thing. So I don't know if you guys know this, because I haven't really talked about it that much anywhere. Like, I think maybe I mentioned it on the podcast once, but by the way, I have a podcast, the Neurocuriosity Club podcast. Link will be in the description. But I'm kind of on a weight loss journey. So I'm trying to do it in a very intuitive eating, focusing on building muscle kind of way. But I would like to lose some weight. And it's okay if that's, you know, not your favorite thing. I promise it will not become like a cornerstone of my content. I might mention it here and there. I promise not to mention numbers or anything like that ever, because I know how triggering that can be. So we're not going there. I just am finding that my neurodivergence is presenting some unique struggles in the weight loss journey. Namely, my need for like flavor stimulation. So a lot of times I'm working with a coach, actually a handful of coaches. They're like a coach collective and like they all kind of work together. But so I'm working with a coach and everything. And a lot of times they're like, oh, just remind yourself that food will always be there. You don't have to binge. You don't have to like have all of it at once because it's not going anywhere. Like a lot of people who get into binge restrict cycles, because of the restricting, they then start to like panic about the food, and so they eat more than they would like in a binge of sorts, and it like goes in a cycle like that. And my coach is kind of treating me that way, which makes sense. A lot of people who have been in the world of diet culture are susceptible to that, but I really haven't been, you know? And I don't think that's why I binge. I don't think I wouldn't call it a binge, but that's not why I eat more than I would like to. For me, it's because I want all the flavors. I want all the flavors. Like, I want the spicy pretzel and the sushi and the cookie, and I want the sweet and the savory and the salty and the spicy. I want them all. And plus, I'm always drinking my coffee because I need all the caffeine I can get. And so I think my dietary quirks are just really different than what my coach is used to working with. My coach is very used to working with someone who's been in diet culture for a long time, deals with a lot of binge restrict, and has some pretty unhealthy, unhelpful thoughts about like food and your body and stuff. Now, I'm not saying I'm like immune to that, okay? I am living in the same society everybody else is. So, you know, fat phobia and like disordered eating thoughts are, you know, part of my life. But for me, it's way more my struggles with losing weight, my struggles with eating well and working out have so much more to do with like my executive dysfunction, my sensory needs, my, what I call like emotional object permanence, where it's like, oh, everything is either now or not now, it exists or it's gone forever, you know, and like I kind of treat food that way sometimes, where it's like either I have to eat it now or I never get to eat it. And it's like, no, you can just eat it. You can eat it in 20 minutes if you want, if you're still hungry. Just give your stomach a minute to like determine if it's full, because this is actually something that I'm really grateful for. A lot of neurodivergent people struggle with interoception, which is like listening to your body's internal cues. So a lot of people struggle with like, am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I thirsty? And I have some of that where like I get a cue of some kind, but I'm not quite sure what it is. I never know, like, am I grumpy? Am I tired? Am I hungry? Whatever. But something I do have pretty good interoception around is like fullness. Now, some autistic people especially really struggle with this, and they don't know they're full until they're in pain. And honestly, some just like non-autistic people struggle with this too. But I've always been pretty good about like, I'm sensitive to pain. Like some autistic folks are hyposensitive to pain, meaning they don't notice pain as easily or quickly. I'm hypersensitive to pain. So anything that hurts me even a little bit, I am aware. And so when I start to get like full, I notice pretty quick because I don't like being in pain and it really hurts to be too full. And so the problem is I am the type of person who, even though I notice those cues, if there's more food on my plate or in my bowl, I will keep eating because in my head, I'm like, you just finish the meal. You finish what's in front of you. Again, I don't think that's actually specific to neurodivergence. I think most people think that way. There's actually a lot of, not a lot, but I know of some research suggesting that, you know, putting less on your plate or like portioning out food makes you more likely to listen to your body. It's not that, so sometimes people frame this research as like ways to eat less, and I don't think that's like the goal. I think it's ways to eat what you actually want instead of eating more than you want, you know, because some of us, we eat what's in front of us, you know, and like, I don't know, that's how I am. And I've noticed this a couple nights recently at dinner. I will scoop a ton of food into my bowl because I'm so hungry by the time dinner rolls around. I am very much the type of person, and I don't know if this is neurodivergent related or not, but like, I feel like, actually, I'm pretty sure it is. I think it's an interoception issue. I kind of go from like, I'm not hungry to feed me right now. And so that's kind of how food works for me. So I scoop a ton of food into my bowl or onto my plate. And then about 3/4 the way through, I'm like, I'm pretty full. but like I was so hungry before, so I feel like I should keep eating so that I don't get hungry again later or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, this has been me rambling about food and weight loss for a long time. And like I said, I don't want this to be a cornerstone of my content, so we're gonna move on now. But anyway, Bold House Farms protein coffee, not bad if you're looking for something like that. But yeah, so today is just a typical work day for me. I have a lot of meetings, so you're just gonna see me taking calls with folks, doing interviews and whatnot. This is a big part of my business. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are reserved for just all kinds of calls. And today is a Wednesday, so I have a bunch of calls to take. These days are like fun for me because I'm very extroverted and I like, talking to people, but at the same time, it can be tricky because there's a lot of work that needs done on the back end of my business that I can't really do on Tuesdays or Wednesdays because I'm so busy taking calls. So we're gonna see if I can work in a little bit of like behind the scenes work, but we'll see. It'll be what it'll be.
Whoosh. I saw that and I did that little chocolate.